So this video is pretty impromptu. This has actually never been done for us. Maybe other people have already done it, but we're gonna figure things out. I mean, I've removed a lot of Model 3 bumpers. Obviously the 2017 all the way to 2024. 2024 is when the Model 3 Highland, or they call it, or the refresh model, came out in the US. But we've actually finished R&D of the do-yourself front protection kit. So if you have it, check it out. We'll put the link below where you can actually purchase the front kit, normal, standard, and then also the performance variant over there. So let's get right into it. We already have this lifted about 2 feet off the ground, which makes it way easier than trying to get under there and also being a danger. So we got our tools. Typically you need trim removal tools. We sell these as well. And then honestly, when you're working on Teslas, it's like 2 things. It's like 8 and 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is gonna be like your #1 friend. So don't lose that. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up. All right, so here we go. So right off the bat, typically this will come out. I have mats right here. So I'm just gonna put this down. There's a bunch of bolts right up here, 2 right here. Let's go ahead and remove this. The frunk is very, very similar to the previous gen. I'm just studying this a little bit. The button is really in the same place. Typically this comes out and it's on a Velcro, I think, or no, just some clips. And then you have to remove this clip right here. This is for the button and also has the thing that you can put on the front. And then you definitely probably have to remove this one because this won't come out unless you remove this. So these are all gonna be held by clips so you can kind of get it started. All right, there we go. Some big clips over here. And then, boom, there you go. I'm just gonna put it somewhere safe. This is like where the intake is for the air conditioner. I can just remove that really easily, keep it in the frunk. And then the previous one did have a screw over here. I don't see it. Okay, so immediately I feel the tension, right? So there's got to be something probably here. You know, I never try to force anything whenever you're moving stuff. There we go. Just slides out. Well, there's 2 screws right there, which makes sense of why I was able to pull it out. But typically this just comes out once it's done. So you see right away, I can remove the front trunk. And now you reveal all of this, right? But there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that's holding it. Okay, so typically I like to leave at least one, like the middle one, for the last. We still need to kind of unhook everywhere else. So I'm gonna put these screws. This is actually like whenever you work on stuff, you kind of want to keep the screws that you work on. You could label it if you aren't used to doing this. It's a really good habit. Put like a tape around it and put like top of the bumper or something like that, just so that you understand where it goes. You want to remove some clips inside. So typically for these, I like to just put it on the ground where I removed it. So we got some of that removed. And then as soon as you remove it, this is really hard to see anything really. Yep, so you got a bunch of screws, a bunch of these taps. So these are very, very standard. So when you remove it, you just pretty much unlock this. And then these trim tools are amazing because it loosens that up and then it just kind of comes out really, really easily. So let's just go ahead and just look inside. I know there's going to be something right here. And I can see that there is a screw, which looks clearly like an 8 millimeter right there. So that's an 8 millimeter, and that's what's going to be holding right over here. Bring this back. That should be good. Let me see if there's any other ones. And I could definitely That's a lot simpler than the previous one. There was a lot more bolts in the previous gen. So I got that side. I want to see if I could loosen this. There you go. So there's a bracket. So right underneath that, I'm gonna go ahead and tape this real quick. When we are working on removals, always try to be a little bit more careful. Just gonna go ahead and tape this up, just so that I don't scratch any of the areas. It's a bunch of T40s. That is all the way underneath the bumper. Sweet. All right, so now the diffuser, oh, there's water, is loose. There should be a nut right here. Oh, yep, I feel it. All the way in. Then it's right here. You see that disconnecting right there? It's exactly what you want. Boom. All right. Look at that. You see? That bolt right there just goes in here, and then there's a 10 mil that holds it. So that's really the last part that I think you need to remove. And then I'm gonna do what I did on the other side. So far, so good. Pretty straightforward. I got my all right, and then typically my trick is kind of go up and then pull back, and then we should be pretty good. I just like putting a chair like that, and then that way, oh wow, look at that. So that one clipped out like super easy. Shoot. If you wanted to, you could kind of use that as a all right. When you're removing bumpers, you have to be careful though, right? You don't want to overdo it, but you can see this is completely off, right, guys? But whenever you do this, you don't want to use the metal thing that I was using underneath. You definitely want to use a plastic trim, and I like using things like this. Make sure they're shaved off, right? So it's not So if you look, let me just look here real quick. There's an obvious clip. So if you push down, it should actually loosen that up. So what I'm trying to do, just make sure that I get the center right here. I see it. And obviously, should just clip out. Just don't want to make sure you damage anything. Wonder if there's any like push button. Oh yeah. Ouch. I feel it coming out. Oh yeah, that part's out. There you go. So we got this completely loosened at this point, and then I can see that all of the bumper is loosened. I'm just gonna look at the bottom. So you can kind of see it's starting to come out. I can feel it in the bottom. There's another one right here. Oh, there you go. That finally came out, and this chair is gonna hold that, and look at that. It's starting to come out and starting to weigh down. There's some connections right here. All right, so the harness, guys, is right there. So there's actually two that you need to look out for. One is going to be the main one, and you just remove it, and it just comes out. And then there is going to be another one. That's going to be the PWS, which is going to be the sound system whenever you go in slow speeds, right? But that is actually what's holding it. All right, so I'm gonna slowly and gently bring this down, guys, and just put it down here. And you can see, that's how you pretty much remove the bumper. So, not so bad, very, very similar to the previous gen. Couple of differences is that, you know, they use like the Torx 40. I don't remember the PWS being connected directly to the bumper as well, having me to remove that, but that's fine. And then obviously the connector is very, very similar as well. But let me just show you the inside over here on how it works so you guys can understand a little bit. That's the PWS, which is the sound system for outside when you're at low speeds. This is the main harness that connects it with all the sensors here. This is the intake over here that goes into this. This kind of opens and closes. And the Torx actually goes into this little claw, which is slightly different than the previous one, right? Normally it was just a push clip, right? So very, very different. And then this is where the 10 mil was mounted. And then you can see one connection right here. But that is pretty much it. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video in removing this bumper for the 2024 Model 3. Let us know if you like it, subscribe, and if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. We'll see you later.